Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Aligned to Your Design podcast, where I attempt to have real and authentic conversations with people that I feel are living their life purpose and who also feel they are living their life purpose. Today, my guest is an incredible man named Saad Syriek. He is a manifestor in human design. He's an incredible designer, stylist, and thought leader. We periodically have conversations every couple of months where he normally reaches out and informs me it's time to talk. And then we download together and we exchange notes. The reason I wanted to have him on, among the many reasons, because he's such an extraordinary individual and the frequency of his voice is very transformative, is that we're now here for communion. And while we go through this cycle shift that's going to click in 2027, and it's going to be a pretty rough changeover because the cross of planning was about planning. So everything was planned. Everything was planned. Okay. Even you tried to plan your career. How'd that go for you? Right. So the new cycle we're moving into is about the individual, which sounds all hunky dory, except when you realize a lot of people never figured out who they were in the first place. And the window will close. It's the end of knowledge. So basically, if you don't wake up by 2027 and you're not a newborn or a little kid, your chances are slim. So I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible reconnect to their inner guidance, reconnect to their real purpose on the planet, and find their joy again, because joy and curiosity are literally the fuel for life. They're the fuel for life. So I'm going to bring on Saad, and he is a manifestor. And because of that, also something I want you to attune to, if you're listening or watching this podcast, is that I'm going to attempt to not ask Saad questions, but to inform. Instead of saying, "Hey, what have you been up to lately?" I'm going to ask him to inform us, but it's not an ask. It's a command. It's an inform. So manifestors like to be informed, and when they inform, they don't have resistance. So I'm going to attempt to do that. This is how you create respect between people, as you communicate to them in the way they need you to communicate with them, and they attempt to do the same for you. All right. All right. And finally, the third thing about experiencing Saad is that because he is a manifestor, he knows he's a manifestor and he's living his purpose full on, bravely, risking being canceled online by speaking his mind, going on X, being outspoken on Instagram, really, really shaking up the status quo. You're going to hear that frequency in his voice. And if you simply listen and take it in, the power of the manifestor is they initiate you and they impact you with the frequency of their voice, which activates new energy in you to manifest what's correct for you. Manifestors not only manifest for themselves, they encourage manifestation for all of humanity. So with that, I'm going to bring on my dear friend Saad, and we're going to get into our conversation. All right. Saad, hey there. How are you? So
How
good to
are
see
you?
you.
I'm good.
Oh,
Likewise.
oh man.
It's been
So
a
we were
while.
talking before. Yes, it has been a while. Will you tell us, you've been thinking about jewelry. What about the
hmm
jewelry industry, like jewelry? I have on some very cheap baubles right now. They're really fun, but tell us about jewelry.
Now, what kind of sparked it because anything I have like an interest in, like I just I always find inspiration just in literally everything. So I was watching, no, I was thinking. So I was just sitting there thinking, and I scrolled on YouTube and I was just looking at just like because I like chains and pendants because I like the intricacies and the all the little details. And you can get real meticulous. You can get as creative as you want with it and create anything. So I was like, let me just actually for the first time in my life actually full deep dive and just learn again. So I get into it and I specifically looked up all the popular jewelers, like all the bit like because I wanted a standard. I wanted to see the best. So while I'm learning, so I know that's my standard or should be where I should my barometer meter. So I'm looking. I don't want to drop no names, but a couple of designers, and they're catering towards a certain demographic, And it's like I'm noticing they act as if they don't know why these guys are coming to spend it on them. They don't know why they're being name dropped in songs. And it's like, I see the game, but I just took mental notes, kept because I had a purpose I wanted to learn. So through all of that, let me just keep learning while taking mental note of those little things. And as like these jewelers were talking, I'm hearing even about the piece, like the diamonds and all the work that goes in. It's a lot of work that goes in. But even within all that work, like the jeweler industry, the game is basically to upscale you times 10 times however. And and I was like, all right, the fact that that's the game, like they normalized that and called it the game. It's like why? Like that's literally getting over on people at a huge level. And then it's like sort of it's how you market jewelry and how you um just basically market how you market it to people, and it creates an illusion as if it's so valuable. Because I even heard, even after I first had the thought, later in the day, I'm just scrolling in the morning on TikTok, and I hear just someone on the podcast talking about, let me put you guys on game about what these jewelers do. And it was like, And then I hear that aspect, and then it was, yeah, so they get in there, they get the jewel, they get the, I don't know like the terminology exactly. I just know the process, but they basically just it's highway robbery. And usually the people that I'm seeing are owning these jewelry businesses or these shops, it's sort of become like a family business. And then when I, not everyone, but just from what I did, going back to how did they get just the resource to all these diamonds and jewels and gold? Like, where did that come from? It had to come from somewhere, and stolen, but not all, but I'm just there's certain people who have a name, and I'm just looking at even the high fashions that in that field. It's like, because for me, I always like fashion, I always like art, I always like that. Um, and it's like as of now, also I was getting in the. I don't even want to wear any brands, name brand. I don't even want to do any of that right now because I have the same purpose, but the purpose is like the purpose hasn't changed, but it's like a nuanced purpose within the same big purpose. Like I know what I want to do in fashion, but for me, I had to realize you know what you want to do in fashion, but you can do it solely. Everything that you want, you can create. Because everything that they're doing, it all came from the mind. Everything starts with a thought. So it's like, I believe I have a mind. I just need the resources. I need the tools. But the greatest tool is the mind. And I was speaking to you the other day, and I was like, I'm seeing how just communication is like the THEE. Communication is the, even if and it's powerful, even if you're not literally not speaking words, because I was just like recently too, so much. I had a infatuation with music from specifically Italian, like um orchestra classical, and like 1800, like way back, because it's like it started because music nowadays, it's like I'm tired of the words, because like the words don't matter anymore. It's just everybody listening to music for the beat or the sound. So it's like if if that's the case, which I think that's true, because I see people admit to it, I'm trying to listen to music to just be calm and soothed. What if I listen to music that's in a totally different language where I can't even understand what they're saying? But the fact that it's still soothing, you can still feel. You don't understand the language, you don't know, but it sounds, you could say angelic. But it's like the fact that I don't even understand, but you're making me feel. That there tells me it's like it's not words are it can be an illusion. Well, it is an illusion because the truth are the feelings. Feeling is everything. But you have to be conscious enough to know what you're feeling and not always act on a feeling because we feel so many things but without us knowing instinctually. So it's like you have to accompany the mind with the body because you can't just that's what animals do. And it's like a primitive, what's the word, the word primate, but I don't know if the word's primitive, but you know what I mean. um
Instinctive.
yeah, it's like an instinct. It's an instinct for humans
Yeah.
also, and I don't want to call it animal instinct, but it kind of is just because we're not animals, so I don't want to, but you know what I mean. Um, and it's like we have to be conscious of what we're feeling and truly understand what we're feeling because we feel so many things. How will you know what exactly that feeling is? But it's like you will never really know exactly what it is. But if you feel something and you create a purpose, you create because that feeling somewhere it's a little feelings like in your arm, you're like wherever, in your stomach, your gut, the butterfly feeling. And people think, and I've seen just talking to people too, they always certain like that butterfly feeling. Most people call it a butterfly feeling, but everybody equates it with like they only equate it with about three or four different kind of things, like scared, happy, shy, bashful. Just even though some of those like synonymous, but it's not too many things. But you just call it butterflies. It could be a lot. It could be just what you ate, and it just at that. It could be a whole lot of things. But you create the intent. It's not as if it's not there. If you don't create the intent, it's not there because you felt it. But it's what I've been learned that's been crucial for me. I don't want to drift off, but another thing that I'm thinking I learned and thought about too is just the power of the mind and how we have been truly played with everyone because they tell you who you not who you are, they tell you what you are scientifically. They don't tell you and they give you bits by bits of what you can do, but it's up to you to piece them together. But that only comes if you are not afraid to act. And if you grew up in a where it was encouraged for you to question, but question out of purity. Don't question out of ego or question out of like for me, like even as adults, it's like I find a lot of adults, even with me, just question when you question them, but I question my favorite thing, just ask why. Simply why. Because I like to know steps and just patterns. I want to know why. So like even just through working with adults in the workplace or just out in public wherever I'm around adults, whenever I would question them by asking why out of just true out of me literally being naive, out of just not knowing, and it's like they get defensive, like it's a eat like I just hit their ego, like who are you to question me? You don't think you but it's like I didn't know. And if you're telling me something for the first time, I want to know what you know. So the only way I would know that is to question. And then I can't even explain that because they're so caught up in the fact that it feels like an ego hit, or it's like they can't even get you can't even have a conversation with certain people like that because everything that comes out your mouth, no matter how pure or how anything it is, they take offense, and you just go in circles, can't get anywhere. But to see how this ties into jewelry, how it's like they're doing yes, they're doing a certain labors, but they also have money and the resources already back to where they can do less work and then sell us a piece for $50,000, just figuratively speaking. Well, not even figuratively, you can find a $50,000 piece, but a $50,000 piece. And when you look up how is it made or how much is it truly made, how much does it cost for each stone, how much is that gemstone, how much does it cost for the placement, the cut, all that. It's like from 50,000, however I said, to about 8,000, 7,000. And so it's like, what are people paying for? The name attached, they're paying name attached. It's like an influence because as soon as I recognized that, was aware of that aspect, I quickly took it to fashion and clothes, plain white hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it can be just same material, just plain white hoodie. You go just right here, Balenciaga. Balenciaga here. Now it's the same material, feels the same, looks the same. You can't tell a thing because it's the exact same. Just it's only one difference, Balenciaga. That will sell like that. And they can up the price on it. This only cost me, I think, $10. The Balenciaga that I don't know a number, but based on what we know, um, close to 1,000 just for this. And it's like, hmm. And it makes you think. So so when people it goes into classism or the illusion of classism, um they think buying something other buying like anything man-made will make you, it's like give you some kind of just some more superiority, or just it makes them feel sanctimonious. It's like no, the true power is inner. Nothing out, nothing out here can true, because everything out here can be taken away. That's why it's like what's inside, you can't, the fact you can't see it, but you know what's there, who can take it?
Before we go there, I want to go into that, what you just
Hmm.
said. But to your previous point, that beautiful full circle about the grift, the game, uh,
Hmm.
it also occurs to me that these companies are so crafty. They get people to pay what, quadruple the price of what it's worth to advertise for the company. It's brilliant. That's why I won't wear labels externally. I won't advertise for companies. I won't pay more so I can advertise for them.
For
Nope.
specifically for them. That which you just said, that was the thing, because I only went out for this year fashion week just one time, one day, for the first time, because I'm in fashion, but it was like something was in me. It was like I don't feel it this year. I'm just, so somebody else dragged me out. One day I enjoyed it, but there was a show and I just saw it from, we were walking past and there was a show going on, and I just saw it from the out, like from the outside looking in, 'cause I was across the street, but I just saw the whole thing. It's like they're creating chaos. They want to make it look like it's so this and so that, everyone stand outside. Everybody, oh, this person can get in, this person can get in, oh, you can get in, or that guy in the middle of everybody, no, you, just him, just him. It's like, and then the people at the door, and then just how it's set up, and then how that is controlled, because they know who's on the list. They know how to they know how to get people in and out. Because if I can, at 26 years old, if I can understand that, I'm pretty sure a group of people who are well older than me understand that. So I was like, I see it. This is exactly why I don't want, like, these labels. They don't care about us. And then that's what I say with influencers. I have so many things, thoughts that I wanted to expound, like actually do. That's why it's like, but one thing, like I want to like talk to, like, in, you see like the influencer people, the young people who try to become influencers, and even some of my friends. And after me realizing all of this, I want them to understand that even within you, that influencer title now, it's not really what it is, because you think your influence is going to come from you being like the middleman for marketing their items. So you're influencing your followers, the people that align with you. You're influencing them to go and buy, or to go and do what these corporations are like. They're using you to sell them. So it's like, what are you influencing? They have you thinking you're an influencer, and the fact that on your, like, we have the influencers too. They have the power. We all have especially the influence. These guys who just wake up one day, go viral, got a million followers, and they're just doing all what they want. They just living their life now. It's like, exactly, like, we have the power. You don't have to treat Instagram as if it's like a job. And I'm hearing people, like, I was a part of that. The reason I can speak on it, because I was a part of it too. That's why I don't take offense, or people shouldn't take offense, because I can only speak from experience. So it was like, I got to post 3 times a week. I got to post this time. I got to make sure that it's all these things. And I had to tell myself, I literally created Instagram and Twitter for specific reasons, to just be myself around other people, to see who connected with me, knowing I was my true self. There was no, this got to be at this time. This had to be at this time. This feature looked like, no, like, and the fact that I can just to close the app, hit log out, and it doesn't exist at all if I don't want it to. And the fact that, and just if I can close it out and it doesn't exist at all, that exists for everyone else. So why do you just take it so, like, you're making it a job? People don't like to work, but they're making that a job. It was leisure for me. My initial when it first came, it was a leisure. It was just something to get away, not even to get away, because I was a child when it came out. So it was just literally leisure. This was like when people were getting on phones, came out, iPhones. It was like Instagram, Twitter. I didn't have a Pinterest, but I understood just pictures. It's all the same. It was like for a high schooler, freshman, or a middle schooler going into high school. yeah, you would be on social media. And that was my purpose then. But I see now I don't want to revert into that, but yeah.
If you were CEO of Team Humanity, tell us what you envision.
Well, one, one thing, because I envision, because it's a lie. I'll just start with how I wouldn't want to get rid of the existing systems because it's so many existing systems, like it's so much, and getting rid of it does nothing. But what you can get rid of or can change or fix are the people who was supposed to be implementing how they're supposed to be ran or operated. So you keep the structures that exist, but you cut out the BS, you cut out the lies, because we look how long the string of lies has been, about 200 years, 100. So how how is like everything is out now. The only way to go is this way. You can't, but it's you have to think. Don't burn it down, break it down, tear it down. They're already here. Just keep that so you don't have to build it again or like literally do more work. Keep it, just change how it's being ran. Change the people who are enforcing certain things. And it starts with the mindset, because you can have laws and rules, but if the people aren't aligned with certain principles and morale of a collective, because it starts with the collective just consciousness of a purpose. Like, because you see it in just people in nationalities or ethnicities, I believe. I can't think of the word, you know what I mean? But how certain, like when you come, like certain people from other countries come to America and they have to stick together. It's a have
Hmm.
to. When people, just the fact that we're born in America, oh, now we don't have to stick together. But you see other people come here and it's a have to, because it's for survival. If any, survival is the purpose for humans. Everything we do, the number one was for survival. To eat was for survival. So if everything was for survival, that means everything they did had a purpose. And when you do certain readings, and well, readings as in just history and text and reading about these things, exactly. But they don't tell you that. They just tell you, oh, they were advanced in this one thing and this other thing and this other thing. But they don't tell you that, well, they don't tell you what came from that. They just tell you they were so good at this. They try to break it up. But it's like, when you put it all together, you get something also, because you can't know one thing about the stars and not know not have it correlate to animals, or not have it correlate to man, or not have it correlate to plants, or not have it correlate to 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 to, to mathematics, numerology. You can't even numerology. Knowing numerology to a certain extent will bring you to another thing, to science, and science to a certain extent will bring you to his. It's like, so. It's like the fact that America, I've noticed, they broke it up, but now I always knew it was broken up, but it's like now I know it was for a reason. Because, well, we know the reason, but just the realization now, I was always saying it's broken up. Why is it broken up? Why is it broken up? And then now it never got answered. It only got answered through me researching and putting my own things together. Because they never, of course. And I was like, after I realized, it was like, I felt, you don't feel dumb. You kind of feel like relieved, but it's sort of, I always had to feel the worst first. So I felt dumb first. Let me just be honest. I felt dumb, but then after I knew I felt dumb, I was like, I'm not really dumb, because, or I shouldn't really feel dumb, because why would they tell you? Like, why would they? And it was
Well,
like, I'm happy
here's
I
the
know.
thing. Here's the thing, though. Like they, right? They, the
Mm,
oligarchs, they, the governments, they, the narcopaths. It's called his story, right? So whoever the conqueror is, no matter the tribe, all tribes have engaged in war pretty much without
hmm
exception. Whoever the conqueror is, usually a him, they get to write the next story. And then people believe it. And I'm like, that's just someone's story, like one dude or
hmm
10 dudes. And like billions of people are following the narcopathic delusions of 10 dudes. Even now, look at the world now, right? It's run by what? 15 trillionaires and billionaires?
Excuse me.
And they're lunatics. They're like, we're going to live in Mars and vacation on Earth. When we have this beautiful planet, no one can survive on Mars. One person punches a hole in the unit, everybody dies. It's insane. But when you talk about they, because we're a generation apart, you and I, right? Um,
Mm,
when you say they, will you tell us what is they to you? What
mm.
is they to you?
To me, specifically, when I say they, I'm speaking of just the small percent of people who control the tools to manipulate the mind by media, but by marketing, media, advertising, um, on all levels, and just well, that's that the media aspect, and then control like the money, control those the people who and the biggest ones, lawmakers. So like my they because you when you hear they, people always other people who just don't know what I don't get into the details, but when you say they, people just always align you to think about some conspiracy, just some kind of talk like that. But even and this is what it's affirming. Like I can't. I'm not upset. It's affirming. I vividly remember the first, and it was seventh grade. I remember the guy's name who told me about it. The first time this ever came into my awareness, anything about any Illuminati. Sixth grade. So, and I just go into all these, just as a kid, you YouTube, you go all the rabbit hole, and then you just cannot go to sleep. And I couldn't go to sleep, but then it was like I got over it after a couple weeks, maybe a month. I don't remember fully, but it didn't. I just know it didn't last too long. But and then I remember just from there being in class, because after you read about certain things at that age, you just come to class, tell the whole class, tell the teachers, like you know what you're talking about. Me specifically, it's kind of affirming that now 2024, a lot of things that were called conspiracy theories are now being true, are now coming out as actual truth that were undeniable truth. And yeah, I was a kid, and that's telling because even if I was speaking from it out of not knowing the nuances, what I was saying wasn't wrong because I got the information the same way you got the information, but I just used logic. I didn't have anybody else telling me what to think or how to think. I was using what was already here on this planet through the computer, just the history that was here, and using just how I know people work, how I know the wind blows, how I know the sun, like how I know things actually work. If this word is gonna be taken as true, then I'm gonna assume the people how we thought people have thoughts, people have emotions, people. Some days people don't want to do things. Some days people do want to do things. So when I'm reading history, it's like they always try to tell you this is exactly how it happened, just in this line. There was nothing. It was they did this because of this one reason that nothing is ever done because of one reason, because so many little things have to happen for that one thing to happen. So it's like I want to know the little things, and I want to know the things first that's not even on the surface. I want to know the inside because that's intent. I want to know because even me, there were times where even I believe I always have good judgment, or I try to always have good judgment, and I was wrong because that's life. No matter how good of a, no matter how you could practice for your whole life, not being wrong your whole life about a certain thing, but you will be wrong because that's just life. Like that's ego. Whenever you think you can, you think you can't, think you can't. That's why like for me, I try to know a little about everything, then know so much about little because then I see people like who are kind of like that, who are synonymous with that little phrase, because usually the people who talk the most and talk the loudest they that's a show, that's an illusion because they want to make it seem as if they are other than what the inner really is. They're trying to put on a little mask or a front, but it's like usually the people you realize just through this is real life observation. I lived it, so it's my testimony. But the fact is my testimony, and I've seen it because my friends are a testament of me also. So it's like you as well. So it's like with people who are good listeners and who are just because listening is awareness. It means you can because everything is still happening in the world, but I have an intent, you have an intent. What's important for right now is this. So I
Mm-hmm,
can
mm-hmm.
tune the tree. I could if this wasn't here right now, me and you, all those things would be existing. But the fact that you're here, I can choose to tune that out, tune that out, tune that out, tune that out, and only hear you, only hear the words, only hear because I came in with the intent that I had a purpose. I want to come and I couldn't sleep. I'm not gonna the fact that I couldn't sleep last night, why would I come today now and it's total opposite. No, you stay in that state, and that you get the most out of staying that because it's and that's what I learned through life. Like, wait, you even it's what you've been teaching and what you've just been just you being you, and then me picking up from you and just doing my own. It was like I say it's affirming because usually when it's like these synchronistic sort of things happen, you say, "Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy." For me, it's not crazy. It's affirming because it's literally affirming because I always knew it. But the fact that I'm getting to a certain level now, I know certain terminologies. Because remember how I only care to know the function. Like when it's about like nuances are important, but if I know a problem, I don't need to know it. I know a problem, and now it's just how to fix it. If I know this little thing is an issue, I just need to know how it is an issue, and like I don't care, oh, this is what made him. It's important, but after we both agree on a problem, we both have a common agreement that this is a problem. I don't. Nothing. It's no going backwards. Everything now from here on, since we both can identify it verbally, it's about fixing that only. No more doubts. No more. I can't. No more ifs. Any of it's because we both identify it. And if we took all that time to identify it, now it's a disregard or it's a waste. It's a waste of mine and your time because it's like now we're just sitting here going back, feeling. You never go back to feel the emotions of the past unless they were good emotions. Don't go back into the. I realize a lot of people live in their past trauma, but the only way they live in it is they always channel it by remembering it and
Mm-hmm.
then just feeling that exact feeling. But why channel that to feel that pain? It doesn't exist anymore. Literally doesn't. You have to go back and feel it. But if you think presently and going transformative, feel that, think of that to feel that, but don't literally feel what happened. Remember all it was, and just remember that you're remembering it because look where you are now. That's it. Don't even think about how it's made. The fact that you are here and that is there, that should do it for you. Or it should just woosah just a little bit. And I real just these practices that I real like now at 26, I was doing this because I first came up across this at 18, 19 years old. And I just did it as a survival because it was like my was against the wall. I had a toxic household, and I didn't really just know anything. But it's like the first thing just scrolling that just were the laws of the universe, and it was like it made sense. That's what just led me to be me now. It's like I can't. You literally cannot question. I couldn't question what I was reading because I'm look. I'm looking out the window. You can't. Like it's nothing to question. And looking at my hand, if you like look even closer at like the plant, like on the plant, it looks like it's you see like the just on there, and it's just like it's what
A
people and
hologram.
people know this, but people don't think deep about it. But when you think deep about it, it's like we can't just keep saying it so whimsically. Like, oh, you see the DNA strand in the plant or DNA strand in the leaf, and look at the R. You could even see it here, and it's like you say that, but what does that do for you? You just say it and it's just holly jolly. But it's like for me, you say that I want to know, I want to know the connect. I like patterns. I just naturally and align to I just like patterns somehow. And for me, what makes it even better, I like to figure out how would like the synchronicities like it's like how are these things that just those fortuitous moments for us. It's like I did nothing. I was not. It was not in my awareness at all. But it just turned out so great for me. But it was not in my awareness at all. Who did it? What did it? How to do it? Because this was I don't know where it came from. Some people give that to God. Some people give it to themselves. Some people like me, when it was happening to me, I wanted more of those moments. So what that me was like because if I was always saying everything happens for a reason, that moment of fortuitous serendipity, there has to be some. I can do something to just get that path, just to align it somehow. Just even if it's not fully, just I can get it closer. If I can remember what I did, or just if I can just get it
Mm-hmm.
closer and closer and closer and closer, I can get more of these synchronicities, these fortuitous moments. And once I started doing that, it was like, oh, I realized like right as going from then to now, I was doing something a whole lot deeper than what I thought I was doing. I was just even when I met you for the first time, I was going through all of that and like you remember, I was going in the middle of all of that. So I didn't know names for, I was just surviving based on what was presented in front of me. Like I had to use my brain. I had to not be that. I had to be the total opposite of that narcissist. And it had to be even thinking because they were trying to make me think a certain way. So like I had to be the opposite of them. And it
Will
was
you
like,
tell us? I don't mean to, sorry to interrupt. Will
mm-hmm.
you tell us, just for everyone listening, share whatever you feel comfortable with about your experience with narcissism and your own experience and how your growing awareness of that relationship dynamic allowed you to make changes, if that makes sense.
It's crazy. It's affirming. But that just the question because I just started calling. Well, you're the person who made me aware that this was narcissism. I remember just talking to you telling I was just using the word just toxic, 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 toxic because that's the only thing I knew to call it. But I was like I remember even telling myself 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, 18 just to myself saying this, but always like repeating like some sort of mantra. I couldn't have just been born to just go through this. It doesn't make sense because I remember where life was good,
Hmm.
but then something happened. Like I don't know what happened, but I know something happened in between this period. And it's like I'm going through so much, and it looks like there's no end. I remember vividly saying, "This it doesn't make sense for me to be born into this, and then this to be my fate. That can't be. It just can't be. It didn't make logical, rational sense for that to be a purpose. And it like that was enough for me to be like, I got to do what I can. I don't want to try to force anything, but I have to do what I can within me, and that I had to be alone because you had the first thing, the number one for when but deal like undercut, just realize that you are in some kind of relationship, and relationship not romantic, just relationship in general. Any kind of relationship with it, a person of these traits, narcissistic traits. For me, you have to find it's hard to just instantly get away because me, I was a teen. You can't just I know where to go. But I actually did. Maybe it was, I don't, well, if you ask me, I always like to have an answer, like have a knowing rather than saying I don't know, rather like put my own answer to it. But then I would say I didn't know that, how could I say it? Like, you couldn't get away because you're a teen, you didn't have any, like, sometimes you have family members, but for me specifically, I did, it was just me, my brother, my mother, there's nowhere to go. No, it's just us right now. All our family members out the country, out the state. So it's like you got to deal with it. It was how do I deal with this? How can I get away? And like I said, that now I was going to say, thankfully, it maybe just me being a Pisces and just me already being imaginative, me being already how they like to say delusional. It's true, but you call it delusion. And I realize that all the time to drift off all the things that the world that society tells you is bad about you. You ever realize when you actually think of like use it for a good thing? It's like none of these are bad. Like these are actually things that you need. You call it delusion, but it's not delusion. I have nowhere to go. The only way but I know I can make myself feel like I left somewhere. And I know I just have imaginative mind to create. When you're a creative mind, any creative mind, any imaginative thinker, it's going to be easier for you. That's what I say. I don't think it was. I don't know if it was just me being a kid and how I was brought up. I just saw things that made me think this way, or was it in me? But looking at my chart, it's in me. I can't deny it. The fact that it's in my chart and it's always been there, even it's just always been there. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't know. I don't know. It's always been there. You were just a kid, didn't know it, but it was just always there. So I'll give the credit there. So, but it was just I just was drawn to the mind. That's what like even my inspirations, like people, like just all my inspirations are just they're thinkers first. Everyone, they're thinkers first. I don't like anything surface level because it doesn't require you to think. That's why I was like, even with 9 to 5 jobs, it was just I always had like if I have a purpose, I'll always do what I want to do. So it's like I would never I can't say, oh, I can't. I literally like those people say I can't do a 9 to 5. I can do whatever I want to do if I feel I can get something out of it. And then when I actually got into 9 to 5, now it's like I can't stay there long because and I always said my first job. And when I was working, I was like, yeah, I'm making a lot of money weekly. It's cool, but I don't feel it's like I have to think. I need something to challenge my brain, like because just doing this or just yeah, it's easy. It's not too much thinking, but when you don't think, you get bored. So it's like, okay, I don't want to. I just can't stay there long because I have to think. Even with money is a tool. It's a byproduct of this because somebody can value $1 over $100. And for me, just me saying that, I could see how. Just with this $1, you can do more. You can maybe do more with this one than you can with this 100. People would be inclined to spend that 100. With this
Mm-hmm.
one, that could be saved. That one can be saved as ones, and then it could save up to more 1,000. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. So share with us, if you would, your delusion for a better future for the kids. You're such a visionary. And I'd love for you to paint a picture of the world you daydream about and night dream about where we can live in peace.
That world, see that world when I was younger started at. Is there someone on it? Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Good.
No,
So I'll
these
ignore it.
headphones block everything out except the,
Good, because
yeah.
I can hear it, but I'm just gonna block it also. I
Yeah,
think
it's not on
someone's
the
knocking
recording.
on
You're
the
good.
door. But can you ask the question one more time? Sorry.
Yeah. Will you please share with us? I'm going to try and the informing. I'm a generator, so I always need yes and no questions. Not same as you though. If someone goes, "Hey, what's your dream?" I'm like, "Huh?" Like, ask me a yes, no question. Um, would
Oh,
you
my
inform
dreamer. What
us?
was I got
Yeah,
it. I remember.
your delusion of peace for the children.
Now, this is why or I think history is extremely important because we as humans have extremely geniuses who existed on this planet and great thinkers. And you have to, in white, black, don't matter, Spanish, Jamaican, African. We had great genius like thinkers, creatives on this planet. YouTube exists. That's why I can't hate Twitter and I can't hate YouTube because
Mm-mm.
by part they were more history than school at times, especially YouTube.
You
And
can
if
learn anything on YouTube.
and that's why the jewelry.
Anything.
That's why the jewelry that made me. I'm going to do this by myself, but we'll get there when we get there. But it made after that I'm going to do it by myself. But it starts with for me, I use my delusions or delusions for their words so you can understand with my inspirations because everybody can. The fact that you can look at or whoever and be like, I want to be that. I know I can't be exactly them, but they have a quality that I want, and I want that. And it's for me. I have people as a kid, my childhood inspirations, all my childhood inspirations, I'm realizing most of them from childhood who I just idolize. Not, I never really idolized. I just always influenced, but they all like as a child, the purpose of the inspiration I'm seeing, they all align like the childhood inspirations. They all have something in common somehow. So it's like for me, I had to question why all of these people, and it's like something about them that kind of makes sense, and it's like maybe something within me. My first ever introduction into art and theater was wrestling, WWE, WWF. Why? Because I didn't know. I thought it was real. And that was why, because I was lied to. But that was the first for me sort of my consciousness. I go because it's literally theater, and it's like that. You can say what you want. Vince McMahon is a genius. Like he created his own world within a world for you to interpret to make your own world, and the characters all and how I even see like people just see wrestling on the surface wrestling. Even as a kid, I saw it. I remember it. I didn't know anything about it. I was this is crazy. That's why I love my brain. I can remember the first. I always remember the first because that's the important. The first. I was just walking to the store. My brother's father at the time. My brother was just a baby, like just not even a year yet. We were just going to the corner store, coming back in. We were in the store. The store had something playing on. I think the network was Spike TV, and I just see somebody shooting a promo or like a little backstage video, and it was I didn't know who it was, but now I know it was Scott Steiner and I think Christian or somebody. And if you know Scott Steiner, this man had like a chain little thing on his head, like a chain fence little headpiece, muscles out of his body, like his. Look up Scott Steiner when you get a chance. And I'm as a kid, I'm looking at this, I'm like, what in the heck? not the hell, but I'm like in the store, and I'm like, I asked my brother's father, I was like, what is that? Who like I was like, what is that? Because I never seen a man like a bodybuilder like big, and then he's yelling. It was like an alpha, like an alpha. I never in my life seen this. I've never seen men like I didn't know people can look like this. I was like, and he was talking, and then it was just the scene, the fans, the lights, the and then the music. That's how I was like, music creates it evokes a feeling, and no one can tell me otherwise. Look at wrestling. It's a performance. The person who has already a character, the music must match the character, and the fans literally feed off of that music. It builds the anticipation, and then when it's you can. That's why they have characters: a heel and a face, a good guy and a bad guy. It's crazy how the good guys, even the fans with the intent, a good guy music doesn't change when he's a bad guy, but it's like now the fans, they know he's bad, and now they hear that music is bad because they now know him as music. It does something, and people need to be aware of that, truly aware of that. And it's like, but it was, just to go back to wrestling, it was that brought me into art. And I had my favorite wrestler then was The Undertaker. And all my inspirations as a child, Undertaker, Michael Jackson, um, John Galliano. I didn't know it was John Galliano. I just like the work, but Galliano. Oh, Thierry Mugler. Mugler and then Galliano, because I always just see like magazines, and I would see those old. I was born in 1998, so when I say old, it's when that what I was seeing was from the old for me was like 2001, because I was about 5, 6, 7, however, looking at the magazines. So it was like I would see it, and even I used to with my mom. I used to watch routinely on every Wednesday on UPN network, America's Next Top Model. So it's like, and that's how I was like, I see how I know the like certain nuances of what I do now, because like it was a routine for me to watch these things and do certain things, and just out of curiosity, also just wanting to know about it after being drawn in. Because whenever I'm drawn in instantly and I don't know why, I want to know everything I can, and until I get tired of it. And I do that with music, and I need to regulate that, because I could hear a song that's so beautiful, but I will play it to death and then not want to hear it at all. But it's like I gotta, because this music is great, and I'm just running it to the ground on purpose because it's so great. I need to have some kind of barrier. But just all of like the childhood idols, they all had something aligned, and it was, yeah, they were artists, they were creators, they were illusionists. And my as I got older, they stayed the same, but as I got a little older, it became like like Kanye West, but he was still younger and older too. But Kanye West, of late Benjamin Franklin, um, Giordano Bruno, Michelangelo, um, what's his first name? The last name Facinco, Marcelo Facinco. Like, because they are thinkers. I like thinkers because these were the 60. I may be wrong, so don't quote me. Just educate me. Either they were the 1600s, 1700s, to 1800s, whenever they existed. Just knowing that we as a society love to say we're advanced, we're so advanced, we're so advanced, we're so advanced on the surface. We lost a lot inner. So those people then knowing, just if you had this, and we can't deny they had that. Even was it, maybe you would know, was it Henry Ford, or was it, I don't think it was Disney, but he had to go to trial to prove his intelligence. I don't remember. Was it Henry Ford? I don't remember, but I'll fact check, look it up afterwards. But one of our
Oh
innovators,
yeah, there were a lot of trials,
to like test
20s,
it,
30s, and 40s where yeah.
yeah,
Go
just to
ahead,
like
go
see
ahead.
if just to see if people, these undoubtedly creative and imaginative and transformative thinkers, had to prove that to a people, and they had to be put through a ringer, and then after they prove it, now they're given pennies, and they can live off their, like, live the later years of their lives while we take your philosophies for this new way of, it's like, you see a legit game plan. It's how it looks. It looks like a game plan, but it's like whoever it is, they're using humans as a game plan. And when humans are being used in a game, there's no empathy.
No.
There's none of that. So we all gotta realize you think, or they have you thinking that your voice or your vote, if you want to get there, like it's even voting. I'm seeing it because I had the for this about politics. I can use it now as a beneficiary. I can say I was gifted by being born into a Jehovah's Witness, so I have no anything about politics other than what I just see because we don't vote, don't get into it, don't even talk. None, it doesn't exist in our world, so I just see it for what it is purely. So for what I see purely, when I was a kid, the same problems certain people are talking about are the same problems right now, and I was alive for just Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden. Why are the problems from the first are the same here? Yeah, there are different ones, but even the different ones aren't at a certain level, but the high level ones are all the same. So it's like, I at 26 years old, I could see it. So do you not
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that it's something
sorry to interrupt.
something's off?
Some I was thinking about the other day because the ADHD, I'll just forget.
Hmm.
But to your point, is that say that last thing again? Something just came through. But you were saying about how they
It's like the illusion that you have a choice or in
oh yeah, about the problems. I was thinking about how that's a narcissistic behavior, how a narcissistic person will never give you closure. So problems never get solved because they just want to keep
because they
everyone
have to
in waiting. It's like people will use you up and cast you aside. But then if you rebuild yourself, the minute you're rebuilt, they
it's a
come back to
threat.
tap back in and drink you dry again.
That pattern
And you never get closure. You
my
never get the
my
problem solved.
messages from that person explains that what you just said was my I had a thought. I was like, whenever I go, what is this? Why does this keep happening? What is this? My brain instantly goes to remembering mode, and it's like this happened this way, this happened, this happened. When I did this, this happened. When I did this, that's how when I did this, this happened. When I did this, this happened. When I didn't do this, I didn't get that result. So I like just being recognizing patterns, and then I my understanding comes from when they were broken and seeing the effects of what was broken. And because I was the cause of breaking something. Because if I was causing something, I could break something and see different effects. So I saw it that way. And even what you were saying, they come to you with a long after you give them the truth lesson, the serum of truth.
You're like toodaloo.
Then you just like, I don't care what you have to say. I'm going to get this off of my chest, and you could reply or call, but I'm going that is going out. It's going. And I said what I said. I don't want to deal with that. Then they send you the long paragraph of the sob story or how they're sorry they were, how this,
Uh-huh.
oh, how some, or they victimize to try to
Bullshit.
make you
Bullshit.
feel for them. And it's like, even with me, because this was a parent. So as a kid, I was like, I didn't want to be too hard on myself because it was like, and then the thing was that they use certain words or certain phrases. I'm not going to be here forever. We're not going to be here. They try to, but it's like, and that was always all, and where other people too, family members, when I would go to them for like, help me. This is your daughter. This is your sister. This is your niece or whoever. You know them better than me. Help me out. This is what they're doing. Help me out. Every single one said this. That's just your mother. That's just how she is. That's just how she is. She's that way for a reason. So y'all like, I need something. And it's always you only get they oh and the thing I don't like to use the word hate, but then I this is the word I use. I hated hearing you only get one. I tell them with a real life problem. You only get one mother. You only get one mother.
Yeah,
That
spiritual bypassing instead of, yeah, okay, my
like
mother
that
maybe
made
is better than her mother, but
even just repeating it. It's like that
yeah.
fit in my gut. It's like it feels like because I will come to you telling them what they literally did to me, and your initial response is you only have one. I just told you they did something literally that affected me physically, mentally, emotionally, and they don't care about it. And your response to that is you only have one, or you only get one. Just she only get one of literally me. You can have another child, but you will never get another one of the one you had. So the more and more y'all say that, I never said this to like that, but that's what I'm saying in my head this whole time. But it's like that's why it make when the more and more I hear, oh, you only get one, you only get one. So they think I'm replaceable.
That's right. You're a thing. And the fact
Mm.
is, it's all about respect. If there's no respect, there's no love. I mean, I won't even tolerate someone trying to change me, even if I'm in the wrong. It's my choice. We start messing with each other. We never give each other closure. It's so disrespectful and it destroys all trust. Those
Hmm.
spiritual bypassing, like, oh, there's only one of so and so, or, it's all to protect the abuser.
See, and I don't know, this is the first time I heard that term, spiritual bypass. So I'm just
Yeah.
listening as you go. So,
Yeah. So, hey, Saad, um,
excuse me.
I have another call today. I don't know what happened with my schedule because my my business manager scheduled it. I looked at the schedules and I was like, oh, it's pretty packed. So I actually have another call coming up in
Hmm.
5 minutes, but I would love to have you back so we can continue this conversation.
Yes,
Will
yes,
you
yes,
just
yes, yes.
share with everyone who's watching or listening, inform us of an idea that will create more peace on the individual level? What's one thing someone can do to create more peace in their life?
There's a lot, but I think the easiest one and the most tangible one that everything can do is to truly learn empathy, because empathy at its truest and purest form, and the way you can practice learning, before I give the breakdown, empathy is the answer, and how you can practice it: observe children. Observe observe them from a sense of, when, because they're new in this world, they don't know, they're not conscious of a lot, but they navigate mostly on feeling, and they act on feeling. There's a purity in that, and that is just some kind of, there's an art form in that also, to see everything as new, and just to marvel at the world, because you, so it's like there is no, that is a, that's something that can harm you, that's something that can kill you, that's something that can this, that's something that can, they're, everything they look at is in awe and amazement. That it's some kind of, it's a power in that. Even when you can take that as an adult, and here's how you can see that as an adult. And just another easiest thing to do, we can just keep it in the art, or matter of fact, no, just not even art, just, I want to do it, I'm going to just give everyday tangible reasonings to these. Just look at just people. You could know someone can inspire you so much on a one specific thing that could just change your life, and you only know them and want to be around them for the one specific thing, and you grew a relationship with them because they brought life out of you because y'all connected on a one specific thing. Now somebody else who you don't know, but they know the person who just changed your life, and they told you something about them, about them in the past, like their past self, something that you've never seen them portray around they've never shown this character, but somebody came and told you all these things about this person who changed your life and who you sort of revere. Now you have a choice. Now, what are you going to believe that? Because now, with them telling you that, now that person, they can play a manipulative game. They could get other people to say, "Hey, I told her about this guy. She's still with them, so she sides with them and not us." Or she believes she sides with the people that he did something to, or whatever the wrong that they did. It's like, since you aligned with them, their wrongs are your wrongs. It's like you don't have a choice on your own anymore because you align with somebody who also has their own choice. But it's like, look at children and see how they like this book. This book here, a child doesn't know what a book is, but they're gonna look, they're gonna scroll, they're gonna bite it, lick it, but all of that is necessary. The fact that they're gonna use all their senses, they're gonna smell, touch, put it to their ear, they're gonna hear it, a child instinctually will do all those things. That is, it's a purity in that, because there is no outside source telling them what that is. So
Right.
everything that child loves or it likes, it's from something of purity, and that purity, during my we call that God. I like to call that God, because there's no heart there. It was pure. We can't deny the purity. That's your two sides of your brain. One that wasn't, they're controlled by feeling, but that feeling was a feeling of purity. So so we all can feel that.
Oh, thank you for
Mm.
this. So I'm sorry we got to stop because I have like to go to the
Every
next
time,
call.
every time we finish
Mm.
talking, like my knees start tapping. I, like, you can't see, but I'm just like, I'm comfortable now. I'm leaned though. It's like
Yeah.
all this energy. That's I like talking. I need to like be. I don't want to hold you up, but it's like I
That's all right.
need
We'll do it
to
again. We're
talk
going to do it
more.
again. I'm going to put this recording in my Facebook group and get it out on YouTube, and we'll meet up again. And I thank you, Saad, for everything. And I will
Thank
talk to
you.
you really
Thank
soon.
you. I
Okay.
truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. This was needed. Like this got me realizing a lot. Maybe I should just get in front and just talk. Maybe, but we'll get into, I don't want to hold you up no longer. Thank you. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Text me when you get through
I will.
everything. You're just situated.
I will.
Just touch base because this was needed. Just to
Bye,
start the
everyone.
day too. Goodbye.